Hey there. My name's Erin. Welcome back to the Wholeness Wisdom podcast. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. Here I work with people in daily life to retrain their habits and to ultimately dissolve layers of the egoic mind to reveal the whole self that is the background of all experience, that which is unaffected by pictures, sounds, feelings, behaviors, and what we've been trained to call ourself. So we reveal the whole self. Today, in this podcast, I want to talk about something that is up for a lot of people right now, and it is not feeling safe. There are these deep beliefs that we come into contact with every day through relationships, through work, just through our daily life. We come up against these barriers that tell us a certain message. The stimulus that we see in the world through our senses kind of bounces off these beliefs and reinforces what we already believe to be true. There are many beliefs. Well, I'd say there's a handful. And one of the very common ones is, I am not safe. Among the others, there's, I'm unworthy, or I'm unworthy of love. I will never be enough to get what I really want. I don't have what I need. I can't get what I need. So these are just a few. There are others, but this common one I want to talk today about is I'm not safe. So there's a way to acknowledge what's happening when that belief is being kind of bounced up against with the stimulus that we come into contact with through our senses throughout the day, what's happening around us. The first way of kind of recognizing what's going on is understanding that there are two operating systems of thought. One is left brain operation, and the other is right brain operation. And most of the time, we're dealing with left brain operation because it's helping systematize thoughts and filter these perceptions through a survival lens, really. And the left brain mode of thinking is responsible for distinctions and creating systems, organizing what is relevant and what is completely irrelevant. And it's very, very, very quickly sorting through experience and disregarding and generalizing these huge amounts of information to just give us what is most important. And oftentimes it flags, it sends up a little signal for something that is bouncing off of a belief. The reason it's doing this is because survival is one of the primary motivators of our emotions. And when a sense, when an input flags against a certain belief, I'm not safe, the whole body reacts immediately with a sense of fear, emergency, and those coping skills that we're familiar with: fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. So that's what's happening, is the left brain is filtering experiences. So then there's the other mode of thought, which is, it's very common to use that right brain mode of thought more often for people who are into a flow state regularly. So commonly we would say artists and musicians. We could also say people who are into extreme sports, people who are into surfing and skiing, paragliding, and even people who are like computer programmers and work with programming. They can really get into the flow. And when we're in the flow experience, that is the right brain operation. And the right brain operation is not making value judgments. There might be some left brain in the background happening to support the right brain thinking during a flow state, but primarily the right brain is sensing, feeling, it's opening, it's intuiting if this is a yes or if this is to be moved away from. It's slower and it's more intuitive, and it's really based on kind of taking in that input and letting it kind of be, to experience whether this is something that is resonating with this level of vibration, we could say, or even just the cells. Does this resonate with me? Does this resonate with my values? It's coming in and it's being filtered in a different way. When we're experiencing from the right brain operational system, thinking tends to be more gray area. It is more in the space of not knowing, being okay with not knowing, trusting that there will be a time when it is understood. And it is this space that these really pivotal people, inventors, people who created these technologies that we're so blessed to have today, they were in that liminal gray area space, just being there before an insight came to them. And there are so many countless testimonies of people who they say, I wasn't thinking about the problem when the answer arrived. I saw it in a dream, or I was, having my morning cup of tea, and all of a sudden, boom, this is the key, the missing key. And we could say, because of that right-brained openness, that more gray quality of relaxing and opening, it allowed those insights to emerge. So understanding these two operating systems of thought are really helpful to just recognize when a left brain value judgment is flagging something against a belief. And we can recognize that because it is the left brain mode of thought, that there's also another mode of thought that the left brain isn't necessarily right. And oftentimes it's not, because it's basing these present day stimulus on historical information. And as we know, we are changing all the time. I am nothing like the 5-year-old child that I was, with what I knew at the time, what was clear to me at the time, what I understood, and the people and the situations happening around me. That 5-year-old Erin, I wouldn't really trust that understanding to be filtering my experience today. I know a lot more now. So we could, just knowing this, we can look at these reactions, these flags that say something like, I'm not safe, and go, okay, that's the animal brain, that's the survival left brain value judgment, making a very quick judgment here. So one, maybe I cannot trust this completely. And two, knowing that there's another mode of thought that can be retrained, in a sense, to switch over, much like a train can switch over to a different rail. And just like a train that switches over to another rail, I have these old images in my mind that come up of the conductor, the train conductor, having to pull this lever and use some force to get that track to move. And when we change the pattern from being primarily left brain to more and more right brain mode of thought, we do have to use a little bit of effort. First, in the noticing that it is coming from the left brain pattern, and second, in the ways that we switch that thought to a more right brain open space. And the first way we could do that, we could begin to move that lever to switch that rail, would to be to question the validity of the statement, I'm not safe. And sometimes this is very subtle. It's not right front of mind saying I'm not safe. Sometimes it's more these strong defensive reactions, maybe against our family member or against a person we perceive as threatening our status at work, someone who's talking about us behind our back. We can have this strong reaction in the mind and in the body of defense. Oftentimes it's defensive. And another way we know it's happening is those coping skills, wanting to run away, freezing, or fighting. So first, it's just noticing this is happening, and maybe I cannot trust this to be completely true, what it's based on. That there's actually an emergency happening now. Something else I want to bring in, after recognizing there are two modes of thought and they can be switched to more often be the more open, relaxed, not knowing sort of mode of thought, the right brain side, the flow state. The second thing I want to bring in is that there being two modes of thought does not mean that we are any of those modes of thought. So the thinking that's happening all the time, it's very common for people in a Western educated society or culture to believe that we are our thoughts. And being able to kind of zoom out a little and be curious, what mode of thinking is happening right now, de-identifies us from thought itself. It's seeing thoughts out there as something that is not me centrally. It's happening in me. I can be aware of it. And this is very, very profound. So the more often that we can zoom out and notice this thought is happening, we're recognizing in that moment, I am not that thought. And this is something that is commonly practiced in mindfulness meditation. It is just seeing the thoughts kind of passing as clouds. And when we see them passing, we are simultaneously de-identifying as the thoughts. Coming back to the belief, I'm not safe, what I really want to share today is that this belief, I'm not safe, is resting on the belief that I am the body that has all of these thoughts inside of it. And that these thoughts inside of this body that are saying, I, the body, am not safe, it's this one very, very kind of solid belief that what I am can be threatened. And when we begin to do this kind of consciousness or self-investigative work, more and more, we're finding that we are not this container with all these thoughts and feelings inside. That when a thought, I'm not safe, or a sensation in the body of that pressure is, it's saying, it's almost screaming, I am this thing. And the truth is that we are not a thing. We are this consciousness being. We are this capacity for what's happening. So just as if we can notice any one of the senses right now. So through the visual sense right now, you may be seeing the screen, maybe seeing the edges of the screen, what is around the edges of the screen, which are more blurry and fuzzy. And you may be noticing the light that's coming into the room. All of this can be noticed because there is a capacity for seeing that is holding all of these sights. And the capacity for seeing itself is not any one of those sights. So in a more broad way of experience, we are not any one of the sights, stimulus, or data points that are coming in, including any thoughts. We are the space or capacity for all of this experience to be happening. And that capacity is always safe because it cannot be threatened by any one of the objects or the sense, stimulus, or data points that happen in it. That capacity is impenetrable. It cannot be affected by something that is arising in it. It is greater than. So this is what I want to talk about today, is the belief I'm not safe, and the number one way to rewire, to shift into a more right-brained, more relaxed, more open, curious state of mind is to exert a little bit of effort in noticing when that's coming up and questioning, is that really true? Can I really know that I'm not safe? And if the answer is yes, then who is saying they're not safe? Is it the body? Is it the belief that I am inside a thing, that I am all of these swarming thoughts and feelings inside a container, and that that's me? And how can I really know that that's me when there's also this capacity for seeing, for hearing, for all of this that's so much greater than this body. So I hope you enjoyed this speculation today and also some of these pointers. And really getting down to the root of beliefs is so key in waking up to who we really, really are and living as that whole self, that it cannot be skipped. We cannot just skip working through beliefs. We really need to hold space for those. We need to connect to what that belief is in order for it to dissolve and integrate with the wholeness that we really are. If you want to learn more about specifically how to do this in a very clear, a very informative, and a very guided kind of way, I have a course that's coming out. It will be starting January 6th, coming up this next year, and enrollment is open right now. There's a significant discount if you enroll early. So we have some more spaces for people to join. It includes audio lessons, audio meditations, and then lesson chapter by chapter plans that include writing exercises, very clear instructions on how to investigate the belief in a separate self, and then how to support integrating the layers of separateness in your life so that you can really have a direct realization of your whole true self. I would love for you to join. So please, if you found any of this interesting, or if you have any questions about this, if you can relate to this, I'm not safe or I'm not worthy, if you've worked with any beliefs before, you have ways that have really helped you, I really, really would love to hear about it. So please put it in the comments. If you've enjoyed this content, please like this video or subscribe, because reaching more people is really my mission, and I want to be able to help as many folks as possible. So I appreciate you listening this much, as if you did, and I look forward to talking to you soon. If you'd like to hear more information about this course, you can find it in the description to this video. Thank you so much. Bye.